segment that we had on the list because I think we should hit it. Yeah. I wanted to just hit on Islam Makhachev and Khabib, and this is a really good combo. I think that Islam Makhachev has what it takes to surpass Khabib as far as legacy goes within the next year. Within the next calendar year, here's my statement. Islam Makhachev will be the lightweight GOAT. He will surpass Khabib as the lightweight GOAT. And he already has a resume that is coming up fast. And it's not only because of what his resume is now, it's what it will look like in
Yeah.
a matter of less than a year. Because he just beat Charles Oliveira, who, in my opinion, is the second best lightweight of all time. He just beat that guy,
Easy.
finished him, destroyed him easily. In 4 months, he's going to take on Alexander Volkanovski, the best featherweight of all time, pound for pound number one fighter on planet Earth. He will beat him. We both think he's going to beat him.
Easy.
Both of those wins. Volkanovski, best featherweight of all time in his prime, pound for pound number one. Charles Oliveira, second best lightweight of all time in his prime, beat him, destroyed him, finished him. Both of those wins are better than any of Khabib's wins. And the people saying that he'll never do it, he'll never be better than Khabib, look at their sparring. He wouldn't beat Khabib in sparring. Listen, we're going by what they can prove in the fights. We're not looking at fucking sparring, right? They have two different career trajectories. Khabib is retired. Islam is just hitting his prime. We're not talking about what would happen if they would fight. We're talking about resumes, legacy. Islam Makhachev will have a better legacy than Khabib. His wins over Charles, and what we think he's gonna win against Volkanovski, that already makes him, in my opinion, tied with Khabib. Then he would need one more. And if he beats a guy like Beneil Dariush is a tougher matchup than any of Khabib's fights, in my opinion. A
Stylistic.
guy who can grapple straight up.
For
What do you
sure.
think?
Yeah, I would have to agree with you on that easily. I mean, like it doesn't matter who used to win in sparring. It doesn't matter who would win if they fought each other in a fight. But in terms of resumes, like it's gonna be way better. You know what I mean? Like Khabib, the guys he beat were all strikers. Islam is being has beaten Charles Oliveira submission the guy who's the most submissions in UFC history. He's being pound for pound number one Volkanovski. Like those guys, if I'm not like when Khabib beat Poirier, when Khabib beat Gaethje, when you beat McGregor, those guys weren't top five pound for pound. You know, like
No.
Charles was number three, Volk is going to be number one. That's crazy. Like who has ever done that? Honestly, not just Khabib, but like who has ever beaten that higher level of competition in the span of like 6 months?
And you have to look at the win streaks of these guys. Like he
Yeah.
just beat like that title fight that we just saw with Islam and Charles. That was the first title fight of all time where two fighters with a 10 fight win streak faced each other in the octagon. And not only did he beat that guy, Volkanovski is also on a 10 fight win streak.
11
So
fight win
he's
streak.
going to break history twice. It'll now be the second time that's ever happened, and it'll both be for Islam Makhachev. You can't make this up differently. Islam Makhachev is in the perfect spot to become the best lightweight of all time. What if this guy gets 3, 4, or 5 more wins?
Does he have GOAT
That like
potential?
he will be, dude. If Islam Makhachev gets 3 more wins, he'll easily be in the top 5. Easily. I don't know how long he'll stick around, but let's just say this: if he beats Volk and then he defends again against Beneil or someone like that and moves up and wins there, go.
Ooh, GOAT. Yeah.
Yeah,
I
but
like that.
I don't know if he'll move up because who's going to be champion at that time?
Give me
Like,
Shavkat.
sure, he could beat Leon, but if it's Shavkat or Chimaev, no fucking chance.
Chance. Yeah. You see him next to Chimaev.
Yeah.
He's way
I
too
think Chimaev is straight up gonna just be do what Islam does in these other divisions. I really think he's gonna be. I
I
just
think
like
Chimaev
here's the thing.
is
I just feel like it's taking so long for Hamza. Get him in there.
yeah,
You
why
know?
isn't he fighting for a belt right now? You know, like
God damn, I know.
nobody
Get him
cares.
in there, man. Leon really fucked it up.
But do you think truly people care to see Leon versus Usman 3? I don't think so, you
To
know.
be honest, I'm interested in seeing it, but like if you're comparing that to Usman and Hamzat, I'd rather see that, or Leon Hamzat, I'd rather see that. But like, listen, I I'm I think I'll be down to see it because I mean the first fight was still good. and the second fight might be even better. So yeah,
Yeah. No, but back to Islam. Yeah, no, it's crazy. And like it still hasn't hit me that he finished Charles Oliveira in less than in like less than two full rounds. Like that's just crazy. Like you know what I mean? Like it's just so impressive. And Khabib has never had a win like that ever. You know, like I know that their
yeah.
fight styles could be different. I know Islam is more submission oriented. Khabib does a lot more ground and pound. You know, he drags his opponents to like like that's how he is. But yeah, no. Also, I think Islam is striking is clearly better than Khabib. I also think he's just a way more. I think his style's a lot different. I think Khabib would pressure guys more. Islam's a bit more defensive. You know what I'm saying? Even with his wrestling, it's a bit more defensive. You know what I mean? I feel like he's a bit more slick too. Like he's a little bit
Oh
flashy
yeah.
with his trips and that kind of stuff. I think Khabib is just
He's
like
just more well-rounded than Habib, to be
yeah, I think he
honest.
is more well-rounded. Yeah. His striking looks really good. Javier Mendez before the fight was saying that his striking is going to surprise a lot of people, and and it's way better than Khabib's ever was. And we didn't know to believe it or not. You know what I mean? Because like coaches say stuff all the time, and he was right. His striking is way better than Khabib's, and did surprise people. And
Yeah.
at this point, like, look, you guys could say what you want. Like we picked Charles, obviously, but you can't just like if you're wrong, you don't just like stick by it. You have to like adapt and stuff. And we saw how good Islam truly is. So we're adapting and we believe in him now. You know what I'm saying? He proved us wrong. He impressed us. We
Yeah.
believe in him. There's nothing wrong with that. Like, you know what I'm
And we're
saying?
also not hating on Habib. Like I guarantee you, I could already see the comments. How dare you hate on Habib? Like, bro, we're just
We're
we're
saying
just
resume. We're
discussing
saying
like
resume.
we're talking about resume, and we're just saying that if Islam beats Volkanovski and defends again, he'll have a better resume at lightweight, a better champion resume at lightweight than Habib. That's it.
Yeah. I mean, and
Habib will
also,
not be the lightweight go forever. Like he had three title defenses that will be beat eventually.
yeah, and I mean,
And
like
yeah,
that doesn't mean that Khabib wouldn't have defended it another 5 times. You know what I'm
yeah,
saying? But
but
like,
he
just
didn't. Like we
he
have to.
didn't. Yeah,
Yeah,
based off of just like history, he didn't. So yeah, no. So I think Islam has the chance. I think he's gonna beat Volk in March. I think Charles and Benny will fight in Brazil. I think the winner will fight Islam in I would probably say early summer, maybe like May or June. And I think Islam will have his second title defense, but it will be his third huge win. So I think yeah, no, I think he definitely has the potential. I think he's a more complete fighter than Khabib. The striking is very good. I think he's only evolving from now. I think he's only getting better. That's the scary thing, like these guys who have that good wrestling, all they really need to do is just like improve their striking and like just nobody can touch them. Like that's the same as like a guy like Chimaev. Like as Chimaev continues to improve his
yeah,
striking, like nobody's gonna beat these guys. So like I don't see anyone beating Islam ever. So as long as he wants to stay in the UFC, like he can do whatever he wants with it. You know what I'm saying? It's insane with Shemaev. These guys, if they want to fight if Islam decides to fight another 5 years, he'll reach GOAT status or like at least top 3 to 5. If Chimaev decides to fight 10 more years, he'll also be there. You know what I mean? So like
yeah,
these guys are that talented. And honestly, you know what I'm gonna say right now? I'm excited to see what Islam could do. I'm excited. That I have to say,
yeah.
I'm excited now that like that Oliveira fight's over, like we know that Islam's a better guy. I wouldn't say I'm so excited for the Volk fight as I think Islam's just gonna run through him, but I'm excited to see the greatness that Islam will demonstrate in his next few fights. If that makes any
For
sense.
sure.
So, and yeah, I mean, we never disliked Islam. We were just like Charles, and we picked Charles to win, and we were wrong. So we will
Yeah.
certainly I yeah, we certainly think he'll beat uh Volk and then maybe Benny. But do you think Benny would beat Charles if they fought?
Oh man, that's a tough one. I think he has a chance because like he could definitely keep it standing. And I really didn't like what I saw from Charles Oliveira in that last fight with Islam. And like You look at Charles Oliveira's wins, like I mean, he beat strikers. Yet Justin Gagey, was a striker essentially. Justin Poirier is a striker. Michael Chandler for sure, a wrestler, and that's a really good win from Oliveira. But still, I think Beneil has a chance. I think it's a very close fight. If I had to bet on it, I think I'd probably go with Oliveira by submission. I think. Listen,
I think yeah,
I don't know, man.
that's a good
That's
fight.
risky.
That's a
It's
good
a
fight.
good fight because
I like that.
Oliveira could possibly submit it. It's like whoever's on their back first, I think loses.
You think so?
And
Well, it's hard to
man, I
see
did
on
not
that.
like what I saw from Oliveira striking. You know what? I think I might go with Beneil Dariush.
I yeah, I think
It's like, dude, he doesn't have the best chin. He gets rocked when he's fighting a guy with that grappling. Like, I don't know, man. But he doesn't bring the same kind of pressure as Islam, and also Islam never gets hit. Beneil can get hit, so it's a good fight. But I might just have to pick Beneil Dariush. Fuck it.
Does Islam have the best defense in the UFC? Like I feel like
Yeah,
real
yeah,
argument.
he has the best defense in the UFC.
Statistically, he does, but like, do you like? Honestly, I think he may. It's so
I
crazy.
think he does, man. I think he proved it against Charles.
I think it's crazy that like a wrestler could have the best defense in the UFC. Like it's absurd, you know. And major props to Islam. I think what
Yeah,
happened was I think when he got knocked out brutally, I think he was like, all right, I gotta like change up how I fight. And I think that made him the fighter he is today. And I think that made him like yeah, I mean that made him the fighter he is today and one of the best defensive fighters in the UFC, if not the best. And soon to be pound for pound number one. But I think the Benny, I want to see Islam versus Benny, and I want to see Islam versus Chandler. Those are the two fights I would somewhat be interested in. I don't want to see a Poirier fight. I think that would be, we know what would happen. I don't want to see Charles too. I think we know what would happen. Um, but I think Benny versus Islam would be a very entertaining, high level grappling match. Truly, and I
yeah.
think it would be really interesting because Benny, I know Islam is the best grappler in that division, but Benny may be number two. He's real good. I've never seen him in any sort of harm in the grappling department. As Charles Oliveira, we saw harm before that Islam fight. We saw him in harm in certain moments against Michael Lee. That was yeah. Was
Kevin Lee.
Kevin Lee. Yeah, Beneil Dariush got great takedown defense. Great on when it comes to the ground. And I think that would be a real interesting fight. I don't necessarily know if Islam would be able to take him down so easily. I don't. So I think that would be an interesting fight. And Michael Chandler, I've never seen Michael Chandler get taken down. I don't like maybe in some of his Bellator fights, but I've never seen Chandler taken down. That could just be because nobody really tries to take him down. But he's a strong guy and like he may definitely show some resistance. So I think that would also be a really interesting fight. He also doesn't really tap much. Like he's hard to submit, as we said before. Volk, did you see Volk on Submission Radio talk about
Yeah.
the Islam thing?
Oh yeah.
Saying like he's gonna like show some real resistance and all that. Islam's gonna underestimate.
I think one thing that Volkanovski is going to bring to the fight that will at least allow him to put up a fight is his stubbornness, is his toughness, like his the competitive instinct that he has. Like he's a competitor. I think he's not going to go down in like one round, but I think it's just like he's going to be undersized. He's going to be outmatched on the ground. He's never fought someone with the skill of Islam on the ground. He's been taken down by much smaller guys, taken down by Brian Ortega. I mean, I just listen, and Islam doesn't really get hit all that much. Can Volkanovski hit him? Yes, but like Volkanovski is going to be worried about the takedown the entire time, and that's going to leave him open. And I just think like it's so hard for him. Volkanovski has to do he has to literally do everything perfect. If he's not perfect, he loses.
But that was the same with Charles, in my opinion.
Yeah.
I thought Charles had to be pretty much perfect to beat Islam too, And
I thought Islam had to be perfect, but he pretty much was. But I mean, like,
I think both those guys had to be perfect, honestly.
Yeah, pretty much.
Whoever won had to be perfect.
Yeah. But I just think Volk is like he's so undersized.
I don't think he realizes what he's getting himself into. That's what
I don't think he does either. Like I think for sure he's good, but I think this is his toughest matchup at lightweight.
Oh,
I think Volk could potentially beat a Benil Dariush. Like
I
Islam has
don't
that
think so.
wrestling, that
I don't think
judo.
so. I don't think he beats a Dariush. I don't think he beats a
Do you think he
Charles.
could beat Oliveira?
No,
Damn. Okay, well then I think I would pick Volk to beat Oliveira. Honestly, I'd give him a chance.
I think Oliveira would submit him. I could just
I
see
could
that.
see it.
I could
Yeah.
just see that Oliveira would rock. Cause I could see Oliveira rocking him and then just like getting his back, like how Gaethje did it.
Yeah.
How he did it to Gaethje. So I think I think either of those top three guys would beat would beat Volk. Um, I just think when you look at Volk and those guys' skill set, those guys are just so much better at those fields. Like you mean like Islam's a way better wrestler than Volk. Charles is a way better submission artist than Volk. And Volk almost got submitted, so close to getting submitted by Brian Ortega, who's not quite at that level. Dariush is super high level on the ground. Like these guys at the lightweight division, these top three are just like I don't think anybody beats those top three in the lightweight division. Truly, I
Yeah.
think those guys. That's the right top three, and I think that may be the strongest top three out of any division. Truly,
Oh, for sure. I think so. I think it's up there,
you
but
look at
I
Charles.
do think that Volk could potentially beat one of those guys. I just don't think it's going to be Islam, and I think I'm excited for the fight because there is a chance that he wins. Like it's very slight,
Who are
and
you
if he
going to
does
be
win,
cheering for, though?
oh man, who am I going to cheer for? I mean, it's kind of hard to cheer for Volk when I know he's going to lose, but I'd rather him win. Like, let's be honest, I'd rather Volk win. I
Yeah,
think that'd be a huge upset. No one would expect him to win, and if he does win, it's going to be with striking, so it'll be really fun. But I still appreciate Islam Makhachev now. I give him the respect. I think he's going to win. So it's like, how could I? I don't know. Like,
yeah. I don't want to
it's
get my
hard
hopes.
to root for the guy I know is going to lose. For example, it's like how could I possibly root for fucking Marvin Vittori like when I
It's
know
like
he's gonna
It's
get
like
his
it's
ass
like what
whooped?
we were talking about before, like Nate Diaz, Jake Paul.
Yeah,
How would you
like
possibly root for Nate Diaz to beat Jake? How could have
I
people
wouldn't.
possibly?
I honestly am not that big of a fan of Nate Diaz.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. For sure.
I
Yeah.
was rooting for Silva to beat Jake Paul, but I thought he had a chance. Like, here's the thing. I'm gonna root for Alexander Volkanovski. I just don't see how he wins. I'm being real. I just don't see how he wins. He would have to shock me because he doesn't have the biggest knockout power, 145, and
If you're
he
not
doesn't
not
have the best takedown defense. Like, how the fuck is he gonna win this? I don't
dude,
see.
I just think he doesn't know what he's like. I think he's such a confident guy and all
Yeah,
of that like he just has to believe that he's gonna win. You know what I'm saying? Like I think that's what it is.
yeah.
I think he does think he's gonna win. But I just he's not gonna be ready. I don't think he knows what he's getting himself into. But you
And
mentioned
another thing that I worry about is when guys move up weight classes and have success, like they really need time to bulk up and like
yeah,
completely leave their other weight class. Like, Whitaker, when he left 170, said he was never coming back and took a
oh
lot of time off to bulk up for
sure.
that. Volkanovski's saying that he's going to come back down and defend and come back down. Like, I really think if you're going to move up
You
for
have to
real, you
commit.
got to really put on some weight. And he's not that big. Like, sure, he's stocky, but he's not that big. He's not, I don't know. I think he's undersized in this one. I
Yeah.
don't think he's going to
I
win. Even
wanna
Max Holloway, I think Max Holloway gets killed by these guys too.
yeah, for sure.